Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about one of the most powerful laws that governs our lives, the law of focus. Have you ever heard the saying, what you focus on, you attract? It's not just a catchy phrase, it's a universal truth. Your focus determines your reality. I know firsthand how powerful this truth is. I'll never forget a moment from my early life when I was struggling financially. I had a dream of becoming financially independent and living life on my own terms, but at that time, I was focused on everything but the solution. I was consumed with fear, doubts, and thoughts of scarcity. I spent my time and energy thinking about what I didn't have instead of what I could create. Can any of you relate to that feeling where you wake up every day worried about what might go wrong, what you don't have, or what you haven't achieved yet? There's a saying that's been around for centuries: what you focus on, you attract. It sounds simple enough, but I want you to take a moment and really reflect on the depth of that statement. Focus isn't just about thinking about something in passing. It's about what you give your attention to. It's about where you place your energy and your thoughts. What you focus on, the things you dedicate your mind to, the things you give emotional energy to, are the things that will begin to show up in your life. I'm going to take you back to a time in my life when this truth hit me like a ton of bricks. Early on, I was struggling financially. I had dreams of becoming successful, but at that time, I was focused on everything but the solution. My attention was constantly consumed by fear, by doubt, and by a nagging sense of scarcity. And you know what? That's exactly what I attracted into my life. I didn't attract abundance, opportunities, or financial freedom. I attracted more of the same: more worries, more problems, and more setbacks. Why? Because I was focused on what I didn't have instead of what I could create. I was focused on lack, and so that's all I experienced. But here's the turning point. One day I had an epiphany. I realized that I had been giving all my focus and energy to everything that was wrong, everything that I didn't want. I decided right then and there that I was going to change my focus. I began to focus on abundance. I started directing my energy toward the solutions, not the problems. I shifted my mindset and began focusing on the opportunities, the skills I could develop, the people I could meet. And here's the remarkable part. Once I made that shift in focus, my life started to change. Slowly at first, but the more I focused on the things I wanted, on the growth, on the abundance, on the opportunities, the more they started showing up in my life. Now, I want you to think about your own life. What are you focused on? What dominates your thoughts, your conversations, and your actions? Because whatever it is, you're attracting it into your life. And I know it's easy to say, well, I want to focus on success. I want to focus on abundance. But I want you to ask yourself a deeper question. Where are you putting your energy right now? Are you constantly thinking about your lack, your struggles, or your failures? Are you focused on all the reasons why you can't succeed? Or are you focused on the reasons why you can? For me, it wasn't enough to just think positive thoughts. It wasn't enough to just hope things would improve. I had to take control of my focus. Every day I had to make the conscious decision to direct my attention toward what I wanted to create. I had to stop being consumed by fear and distraction. I had to stop comparing myself to others. I had to stop wasting my time on things that didn't serve my vision. Let me ask you something. Have you ever tried to focus on one thing and found your mind wandering in a million directions? It's hard to keep focus when the world around you is full of distractions. But here's the key. If you want to change your life, you must take charge of your focus. It's not about waiting for the perfect circumstances or waiting for the right time to act. It's about consistently deciding what you're going to focus on no matter what's happening around you. When you shift your focus, you shift your life. It's simple, but not always easy. And I'm not saying it's a quick fix, but when you're intentional about what you focus on, you begin to build momentum. You begin to see things differently, opportunities start appearing, and your actions become aligned with your goals. And here's the thing, this isn't just about money or business, it's about every area of your life, whether it's your health, your relationships, your mindset, or your spiritual growth. Whatever you focus on, you attract. Focus on gratitude and you'll begin to see more things to be grateful for. Focus on growth and you'll see your potential expanding. Focus on your goals and you'll find yourself moving closer to them every day. But don't just take my word for it. Think about the people you know who are constantly complaining, who focus on the negative, the problems, and the obstacles. What do they attract? More negativity, more challenges, more reasons to complain. But on the flip side, think about the people you know who are always optimistic, always seeking solutions, always focused on what they can do, not what they can't. What do they attract? More opportunities, more success, more reasons to celebrate. So the next time you find yourself feeling stuck or overwhelmed, ask yourself, what am I focusing on right now? Am I focusing on the obstacles or am I focusing on the opportunities? Am I focusing on the problem or am I focusing on the solution? Remember, where your focus goes, your energy flows. And what you focus on, you attract. And that, my friends, is a law of the universe that you can use to your advantage. This is the secret. Shift your focus and you shift your life. The law of attraction is often misunderstood as simply thinking positive thoughts and waiting for the universe to deliver. But in reality, it goes much deeper than that. It's not about wishful thinking or hoping things will fall into your lap. The law of attraction is about understanding that your thoughts, your beliefs, and your emotions shape your reality. What you put your attention on, what you pour your energy into, is exactly what you'll begin to see more of in your life. That's how the law works. You don't just attract random things into your life. You attract the things that are in alignment with what you're focusing on, whether that focus is positive or negative. Think about this for a moment. Have you ever noticed that when you're feeling down or anxious, it feels like everything around you seems to go wrong? Maybe you spill your coffee, miss an important phone call, or get stuck in traffic. It's like the world is conspiring against you. That's because your mindset is attracting those negative experiences into your reality. The more you focus on the frustration, the more things you find to be frustrated about. Your energy is in a state of resistance, and the universe responds to that resistance by bringing you more challenges to overcome. But the opposite is also true. When you focus on gratitude, on abundance, on the things that are going well in your life, it's like the universe shifts gears and begins sending more of those positive experiences your way. Suddenly opportunities start appearing where there were none before. You begin to notice the little things, the small wins, the unexpected blessings. That's the law of attraction in action. When you shift your focus to the positive, when you start looking for the good, you begin to attract more of it. The truth is, the law of attraction is simply a reflection of your inner world. It's not something mystical or out of your control. It's rooted in the idea that the energy you emit into the world is the energy you receive back. You can think of it like a mirror. If you focus on negative energy, on lack, on fear, on what you don't have, that's what the mirror reflects back to you. But if you focus on positive energy, on possibilities, on gratitude, on what you want to create, that's what the universe reflects back to you. I know it sounds simple, but here's the challenge. Focusing on the positive doesn't mean ignoring the negative. Life has its ups and downs, and you will face challenges. But how you respond to those challenges, how you choose to focus your energy, will determine how much power those challenges have over you. If you allow yourself to become consumed by the obstacles, if you let them dictate your focus, you will attract more obstacles. But if you choose to focus on solutions, on opportunities, and on your ability to overcome, you start to transform the energy around you and the world begins to shift. I've seen this happen countless times, not just in my life, but in the lives of others. One of my mentors once told me, focus on the solution, not the problem. It was a simple piece of advice, but it stuck with me. Every time I faced a difficult situation, I started training myself to focus on the solution. Instead of getting lost in the details of the problem, I would ask myself, what can I do right now to move forward. And by shifting my attention to the actions I could take, the solutions I could create, I noticed something incredible. The more I focused on those solutions, the more they began to appear. This is the key to the law of attraction. It's not about just wishing for good things to happen. It's about taking control of where you place your attention. If you focus on fear, you attract more fear. If you focus on doubt, you attract more doubt. But if you focus on faith, on possibility, on what's possible for you, the world begins to open up in ways you can't even imagine. Here's an example. Let's say you're working on a project and things aren't going as planned. Your initial reaction might be to focus on how everything is falling apart. You might start doubting yourself or feeling overwhelmed by the challenges. But if you take a moment to pause, to shift your focus away from the problem and think about the lessons you're learning, the experience you're gaining, and the opportunities to grow, suddenly your perspective changes. You begin to see that the setbacks aren't failures, but stepping stones. And when you focus on the opportunity for growth, your energy changes. You start attracting new ideas, new solutions, and new paths forward. The more you focus on what you can control, the more empowered you become. And when you focus on what's possible instead of what's wrong, you begin to open the door to abundance, success, and fulfillment. The law of attraction is not just about positive thinking. It's about aligning your thoughts, actions, and energy with the life you want to create. And here's the beauty of it all. You have the power to choose where your focus goes. It's a choice. Every day you have the opportunity to decide what you will give your energy to. You can choose to focus on what you don't have, or you can choose to focus on what's already working in your favor. You can focus on the things that scare you, or you can focus on the things that inspire you. And remember, the more you focus on the things that inspire you, the things that lift you up, the more of that energy you'll attract into your life. This is a powerful principle, but it's not a magic trick. It's the result of a deep understanding that your focus is a tool. It's a tool that, when used properly, can help you create the life you truly desire. What you focus on, you attract. And when you begin to consciously choose where your focus goes, you begin to take control of your destiny. The law of attraction works, but it works best when you're clear about what you want and intentional about where you place your energy. So where is your focus today? Because whatever it is, you're attracting it into your life. Shifting your focus is one of the most powerful actions you can take, but it requires conscious effort and discipline. It's not just about thinking positively for a few moments and hoping that everything will change. No, shifting your focus is about consistently choosing to redirect your energy toward what you want, despite the distractions, the challenges, and the chaos that life throws at you. It's about making a decision every single day to prioritize your vision, your goals, and your growth over the noise and the distractions that can pull you off course. Let me take you back to a pivotal moment in my life when I realized the importance of shifting focus. Early in my career, I was constantly surrounded by negativity. People around me often told me that I wasn't good enough or that I would never succeed. It wasn't just their words, it was their energy, their pessimism, and their doubts that I was absorbing. For a long time, I allowed those external voices to dictate how I felt about myself and my future. The more I focused on their opinions, the more I doubted my own abilities. I was allowing my environment to determine my mindset, and as a result, I was attracting more of what I didn't want: frustration, confusion, and stagnation. One day, something shifted in me. I realized that I had the power to change my focus, to stop giving my energy to other people's doubts, and to start focusing on my own vision. I had to choose to turn my attention inward and ask myself, what do I truly want? I stopped listening to the external noise and began to focus on what I could control: my own thoughts, my goals, and the actions I could take to move closer to my dreams. To be honest with you, it wasn't easy at first. Shifting your focus requires intention and effort. Your mind will try to pull you back into old habits, old thought patterns, and old fears. But the key is to recognize when that happens and gently guide yourself back on track. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. The more I focused on my goals and the vision I had for my life, the more I started attracting opportunities that aligned with my desires. Things began to shift in ways I could never have predicted. The more I concentrated on my own growth, on the value I had to offer, the more the world began to respond to that energy. And here's the interesting part about shifting your focus. It doesn't just impact one area of your life, it impacts everything. When you begin to shift your focus, it creates a ripple effect. For example, when you decide to focus on improving your health, suddenly you'll find yourself making better decisions about what you eat, how you exercise, and how you take care of yourself. Your energy shifts, and as a result, your physical, mental, and emotional well-being improves. And when your health improves, you begin to attract more opportunities, more vitality, and more success in every other area of your life. It's the same with relationships. If you focus on building positive, supportive relationships, you start attracting people who align with your values and who encourage your growth. If you focus on being a better communicator, a better listener, and a more loving partner, you create a space for deeper connections and stronger bonds. But if you focus on what's wrong with your relationships, on the misunderstandings or the conflicts, that's all you'll see. When you change your focus, you change the energy you bring into your relationships, and that energy shapes the way those relationships evolve. The reality is the things we focus on, whether they're positive or negative, become our reality. So if you're constantly focused on your shortcomings, on your past mistakes, or on the things that didn't work out, you're going to keep attracting more of the same. But if you focus on your strengths, your potential, and your ability to overcome obstacles, you begin to create a different reality. Shifting your focus allows you to take control of your circumstances instead of being at the mercy of them. It empowers you to start making intentional choices about where you place your energy and what you invest your time in. It's important to understand that shifting your focus is a practice. It's not something you do once and then forget about. You have to continually choose where you place your attention, and that requires awareness. You'll need to catch yourself when your mind starts to drift toward negativity, toward self-doubt, or toward fear. And instead of allowing that to dictate your mood and actions, you redirect your focus toward what you want to create. You have to be vigilant about where your attention goes. Every single day, every moment, you're either focusing on what you want or on what you don't want. And that choice shapes your future. Over time, the more consistently you shift your focus, the easier it becomes. You begin to build a habit of focusing on solutions, focusing on opportunities, focusing on growth, and focusing on what you can do in any situation. Your mindset starts to change, and your actions begin to reflect that. You'll notice that you start taking more purposeful steps toward your goals, and you start seeing the results of that focus. But it all begins with the decision to shift your attention, to consciously redirect your energy toward the life you want to create, not the life you want to avoid. This shift in focus is what enables you to master your life. It's what separates those who are stuck, frustrated, and overwhelmed from those who are moving forward, creating, and growing. The ability to focus on what you want instead of what you fear or what holds you back is a superpower. And the more you practice it, the more you realize just how much control you have over your life. When you shift your focus, you shift your reality. The truth is that most people are not aware of how much power they have over their own lives simply through the choices they make about where they direct their focus. If you've ever felt stuck in a rut, it's likely because your energy is being drained by things that don't serve your highest good. You may be focusing on your fears, your failures, or your past mistakes, and in doing so, you're keeping yourself anchored to those old stories. But when you understand that you have the power to shift your focus to what truly matters to you, you begin to see that life can be transformed. It's not a question of luck or timing. It's a matter of where you decide to place your attention. You have to recognize that where you place your focus is the fertile ground in which you're planting your future. If you're constantly focused on everything that's wrong in your life, you're planting seeds of frustration, defeat, and stagnation. But if you begin to consciously shift your attention to everything that's right, to everything you can do, and to the positive actions you can take, you're planting seeds of growth, opportunity, and success. This shift doesn't just happen overnight. It's a gradual process, one that requires persistence, awareness, and patience. But the beauty of it is that once you start focusing on the right things, life begins to respond in ways you could never have anticipated. One of the most profound realizations I've had in my own life is that your thoughts are incredibly powerful. They are not just fleeting ideas, they are energy, and that energy attracts more of the same. You can think of your thoughts as magnetic, pulling things towards you. When you focus on the things you want to manifest, whether it's health, wealth, love, or success, you begin to attract people, opportunities, and circumstances that align with those desires. But this requires a deep sense of trust. You have to trust that when you focus on the things that will elevate your life, the universe will meet you with the resources, people, and opportunities that will support you in that journey. Let me give you an example from my own experience. When I decided to change my financial situation, I had to stop focusing on how broke I was, how little I had, and how far I felt from the life I wanted. Instead, I began focusing on the wealth that already existed around me, on the lessons I was learning, the people who were successful, and the opportunities I was starting to see. I began to intentionally surround myself with thoughts, ideas, and environments that encouraged growth. This shift in focus didn't happen overnight, but as I consistently trained my mind to focus on abundance, it wasn't long before things started changing. The right people came into my life, new business opportunities arose, and I started to see a shift in my mindset. I was no longer attracting struggle, I was attracting solutions, connections, and opportunities for prosperity. Another important piece of this puzzle is that shifting your focus also requires you to eliminate distractions. Distractions can come in many forms: negative self-talk, toxic relationships, limiting beliefs, or even the overwhelming noise of the outside world. Every distraction is a thief of your energy, pulling your focus away from what truly matters. And here's the thing about distractions: they're not always obvious. Sometimes they come in the form of small, seemingly insignificant things that eat up your time and mental energy. But when you eliminate those distractions and focus on what truly matters, you free up space for growth, clarity, and vision. I know this can feel difficult, especially when life seems like it's coming at you from all directions, but the fact is, you have the power to choose where to direct your focus. And by doing so, you can take control of your life. The moment you start consciously directing your focus, things begin to shift. Your mindset shifts, your actions shift, your results shift. And as those shifts happen, you'll begin to notice that you're attracting more of what you truly want. The more you focus on the things that matter, the more momentum you create. Think about how powerful this is. You are constantly choosing where your energy goes. You can choose to focus on the fear of what could go wrong, or you can focus on the excitement of what could go right. You can choose to focus on all the obstacles in your path, or you can choose to focus on the opportunities that are within your reach. You can focus on the things that hold you back, or you can focus on the things that propel you forward. The simple act of shifting your focus can change the entire trajectory of your life. But here's where it gets even more powerful. When you begin to consciously focus on the things that matter most to you, it doesn't just impact your life. It impacts the lives of the people around you. You become an example of what's possible. You become a living, breathing demonstration of what happens when you take full ownership of your focus. You start to influence those around you, inspiring them to shift their own focus and step into their own power. Your energy becomes contagious, and as you grow, you help others grow along with you. I want you to think about the ripple effect this can have. The more you focus on your goals, your growth, and your potential, the more you become a magnet for positive energy. And as that energy expands, it reaches beyond you, it touches your relationships, your work, and your community. It begins to build an ecosystem of success, positivity, and possibility. All of this starts with the simple decision to focus on what matters and to let go of everything that doesn't serve your vision. In the end, shifting your focus is about more than just changing your mindset. It's about transforming your entire life. It's about choosing to place your attention on what will help you grow, what will help you succeed, and what will lead you toward the life you truly want. When you do that, you begin to experience a life that is not defined by your circumstances, but by the power of your focus.